Hello everybody, welcome back to the James Lawrence Allcott channel, and Great Touch is back, isn't it?
Yeah,
look at the energy, look at the energy.
Yeah.
At last. We've been doing a couple of tier lists recently on the channel. You seem to have enjoyed it, so we're going to continue to do so. It's great to have the boys back, and we're going to do number 5 in the series. There are others that you can enjoy. What do we do? Premier League managers. I didn't age well, did it?
No, it really didn't. No, it didn't.
So didn't we have, what's his name?
Pellegrini going for Christmas. What a bloody mistake.
Well, probably get the Barcelona job before then.
Could do.
This is the second time we've done this intro. Premier League captains. We also did where people got annoyed about Henderson. Go check that out.
He got in the right category then, though.
And Allcott moved him, didn't he?
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Spoiler. Also Premier League strikers and the fantastic FIFA emblems. Looking at every FIFA emblem. Do you remember the 1940? Wasn't 951? No, you don't. Well, then go check that out and subscribe to the channel for more tier lists. Right, we're going to make you angry again. This time we're going to move down from strikers to midfielders. It's difficult, midfielders.
It's extremely difficult because, as you know, Salah, is he a striker? Is he a midfielder?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because on FPL, on Fantasy Premier League, which I do a show on that as well. Go check it out after this. Mane, Sterling, Salah, all midfielders in the game.
I think you've got to go.
You've got an idea? You know what I'm thinking? Go on.
I think you've got to go like what. I think 4-4-2.
Oh, like a proper midfielder.
Very old school, but like the actual centre midfielder, proper midfielder.
That's a cracking.
That makes sense. Because Salah would never play in a centre midfield, would he? So that's your definition. Would they play in a midfield two?
Yeah.
A flat 4?
Exactly.
Cracked it.
So yeah, this is proper midfielders. Back in the day, imagine if they had to be crowbarred into a team managed by Sven-Göran Eriksson, and they had to play. You can't put. It's not like Scholes. You can't put him out on the left. He's learnt from that. It's after that.
Yeah.
He's going. I'm just having 2 centre midfielders, so he's either got to be attacking midfielder or a DM. So let's go through the tiers. That's the important bit, isn't it? We've got twisted it up a bit. We struggled, didn't we? We had to have a little chat on our group chat.
Yeah.
That's our point of it,
yeah,
and to figure out exactly what we're doing here. So the bottom tier is he's a myth.
What does that mean, James?
So what it means, Dom, it means that he's not good. He's a myth.
Yeah.
And here's an example: Matt Phillips. Not in this tier list, but Matt Phillips is a myth. But everyone thinks he's quite good, isn't he? He's quite good, isn't he? No, he's not.
He's not
a
good.
myth. Okay. Next tier is he's good, but not as good as you think he is.
Right.
Now, there's a lot of you're a Premier League fan, especially in the modern game. Premier League fans, or all fans, they think that their players are better than they are, and those players once they leave, you'll go, no, he was rubbish.
Yeah, he was average.
Got an example of that? Off the top of your head?
No.
Ryan Woods.
Yeah, maybe Ryan Woods.
Ryan Woods.
That's
possibly a myth.
High profile.
Yeah, he is good, but he's not as good as I thought he was, or you think he is. So that's the next one. Next tier after that, he's underrated. I'm telling you.
Ryan Woods.
That's the very fact. So for those players who, they are good, and people need to believe more in them.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously, by saying that they're underrated, that means that they are rated.
Yeah.
Like a Johnson.
Yes.
Next one, Champions League standard. So we expect they would get in a top 4 side.
Or certainly a squad.
Certainly
or
a
top
squad.
to 6 side, maybe.
Yeah.
Yes.
Perhaps.
Well, it's Champions League though, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's got to be
Celtic.
Well done. Very good.
But we're sticking with that Prem feel.
Yeah,
you can imagine you pick them up, pop them in a Champions League top 4 squad, whoever that may be, and they would be just fine.
Yeah.
Okay. And the final tier, the top tier, Premier League great. So be it right now or at the end of their career, they will be seen
as a
Premier League great.
So thinking back, it's like Shearer, it's Gerrard,
O'Hara.
It's
all the people do. Yeah,
Van Nistelrooy, would you say is one?
Possibly.
Yeah, 100%.
Here's a quick one, very quick one, because I've seen him doing the rounds. Berbatov.
Mm-hmm.
He's. You know how sometimes players, once they finish playing, they go, "I'm associated with that club."
Yeah.
Berbatov, it's Spurs in my head,
It's Spurs.
but in his own mind, he wants it to be Man United.
Is he doing it?
Yeah, that's what I know.
Well, I actually saw it. I'm just going off topic, but Van der Sar.
Yeah.
He said this week how he had, other than his family and his wife and kids, he has 2 loves, and that's Man United.
Fulham.
And he said Ajax. Yeah, and I was thinking, like, if you're a Fulham fan, he was there for quite a while.
He was there for a long time.
Was he? He didn't get to be away for the final. That was after, wasn't it?
No, Schwartz was in goal by that point. Yeah. He missed out on that.
Yeah.
But he was there for a long time.
Berbatov quickly. Hair transplant.
Has he? For God's
Yes,
sake.
he has.
Craig, if you should change it, you should create a Twitter account or something. Just sort of stays on hair transplant
Yeah,
news.
you could do.
It's a real good one as well.
Is it?
It's
Yeah.
a really good one, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go check that out.
Check that out.
Right, let's begin with.
Who are you thinking, James?
I'm thinking James Madison.
Madison.
Let's do James Madison. So, Craig,
Yeah.
when it comes to James Madison,
Mm-hmm.
just sort of fresh out your mouth for the first time, what are you thinking about him in terms of
The
these?
thing that pops to mind instantly is that he's had one season in the Prem, appearing 38 times for
7 goals.
Leicester.
7
goals.
7 goals.
So it's quite difficult to judge. Is he a Premier League midfield great after one season? You can't call that at the moment. However, it was a bloody good season, and he certainly had a very good start to this season. I think he's creeping towards the old Champions League standard tier.
Okay.
Weirdly got mixed views, hasn't he? From like
In the press, it's very hot and cold.
But
with him.
I think his numbers are good. I think what he does is that in terms of dribbles and in terms of like passing, I think you could put him in like Arsenal, Tottenham, that sort of.
You really could.
That sort of
Yeah.
team.
Is he better than
and I know
Ceballos?
Arsenal aren't Champions League around, but they're in the top 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I understand. Is he better than Ceballos? Is he better than Ozil? Would he be one of your main guys if he was in the Arsenal squad?
I think he would be in the squad.
He'd start, wouldn't he?
I think he'd be in the squad.
You don't think he'd be his starter?
He probably would. At Arsenal now, probably give it. Yeah, probably would. Probably would. Yeah.
So he's definitely not a myth. He's good, but not as good as you think he is.
I think he's Champions League standard.
At the moment,
I think it's the top 3 tiers. But this is the thing for me with James Madison, and the problem that he's going to have, and it's going to be a big part of this, is he's not that likeable, is he? Is he likeable? I mean, let us know. I wonder. He's got a whiff of Stephen Ireland.
Yeah. He's got a bit of an arrogant side, I think.
But then is
But
that
that's
is that
probably
just
where
the
he's good,
press?
mate, yeah.
Do the press just decide, right, we're going to have a go at him, and then all the fans go, yeah, you're right. I mean, how do we know he's a dickhead? I know he got that backpack, but no one
That's
knows.
true.
And
That's
Raheem Sterling being the best example. He got destroyed for years, and it was just bullshit.
Yeah.
And he's come out the other side at last because fans saw sense via social media. But
But
I'm
my
always
point
scared
of
of
that,
jumping on the bandwagon.
I
Oh,
agree.
he's a dick.
No.
because the press
But
say
my
he
point
is.
is, my point is, he is a bit flash, and that doesn't mean you're a bad person or a good person, or whatever. The point is that I think it does play a part. It generally plays a part on how you are perceived, and that could lead to a turn from any kind of football fan. Like, he's had a few like little misdemeanors, going to the casino the other week, which again means nothing. Doesn't matter.
No.
But if you're going to be a Premier League great, he's got a one deliver on the pitch, which he's doing, and I think he can do even better. Last season, creating most chances in the Premier League. This season, he's creating less chances, but he's having a lot more shots. And his XG in terms of scoring, which is probably more important than assisting, in general, obviously, that's a good sign because Leicester are becoming better and better, and he's such a big part of that team. But will he go on and be a Premier League great? I think that's. I would rule that one out for now. I can't see him being a Premier League great. But I think he probably is Champions League standard already.
He's fortunate that we're doing this video now. I bet he's buzzing.
Yeah, he's lucky, man.
He is, isn't he? So I think he's comfortable. I think most comments and people viewing will go for Champions League standard at the moment.
Yeah.
But
How could you not?
being arrogant like he is, he'll probably
which has
think
been
he should
very
be,
clear.
Yeah,
Saw
he'll
that
be
on
in the top
Daily Mail
dog, I
Online.
think. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the point with the tier of he's underrated, I'm telling you, that is below Champions League, and therefore, although there's only so rated you can be despite being underrated as a tier, if that makes sense.
That makes sense.
So, Champions League standard,
Yes.
I think that's
done. Right, we move on. Where on earth should we go next?
Well,
Let's go
to the north of
with
England.
Christian Eriksen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Christian Eriksen.
Very interesting one.
Going through a tough time at Spurs, but has created a huge amount of chances in his time.
Probably won't be a
this is a
Spurs
good
player come the new
This is a
year.
good one.
Do you think he'll go in? Or he might sign a pre-agreement at least?
I think he'll go.
This is where the tier of Premier League great, this is where it becomes a little bit cloudy, and we need to figure out where the bar is when it comes to Premier League greats, okay?
Makes sense.
You've got to have won it.
Because
haven't
what's your lowest level of a Premier League great?
you?
Okay.
You've got
Do
to
you know
have won
what I
it
mean?
at least once.
See.
Oh, it's about winning
Oh,
trophies.
really? So I didn't have it like that.
You have to.
David Ginola?
No.
He's not a Premier League great.
He's not a Premier League
You
great,
gotta-
David Ginola?
He's not.
Oh, he is for me.
You've got to win the.
Oh, is he?
Oh, he is for
Oh, he is
me.
for me.
Um,
PFA Player of the Year.
It was actually, wasn't it?
That's maybe that's
Oh.
the.
Do you have to have won that? Do you need some form of trophy?
You've got to have something.
Stan Collymore.
Did he win it as well? I think you've got to have won it.
Didn't win it.
How can you say Premier League great and not have won a thing?
So what's the lowest? Question for both of you. What's the lowest level of a Premier League great that you can offer me?
I'm calling Alan Shearer Premier League great, and he didn't win the league.
Oh, he did.
He did win the league. Blackburn Rovers 1995.
Well, of course. Steven Gerrard then. Is he not a Premier League?
Yeah. Steven Gerrard.
So Steven Gerrard's a better example.
Robbie Fowler, is he not a Premier League great? They're going mad in the comments.
Yeah, they're going crazy. Look, what about this guy? Klinsmann for me is a Premier League great. That's Tottenham.
Say again.
Klinsmann for me is a Premier League great.
This is the minefield of a tier list, especially on this channel. Subscribe.
I mean, you could argue that Eriksen's the best Tottenham player in the Premier League era. Just look at their positioning since he's been there.
I don't disagree with that.
Above Kane?
I don't disagree with that.
Kane maybe, but he certainly should be in the top 5 because this is the best Tottenham of the Premier League era, and he's arguably their best player, at least they're joint with Kane.
So let's work our way through it. He's not a myth.
Absolutely not.
No, he's class.
No.
He's good, but not as good as you think he is.
No, he's
not. That's not.
No, I feel it's
so for me.
I can see. Oh no! See, this is the problem. He's underrated. I'm telling you, but that's still got to be below Champions League standard.
I think he's rated.
He's yeah.
He generally is, yeah.
He's a bit like a Good Johnson as well. That people like hipsters like to rate him, and he does create a hell of a lot of chances.
Yeah, he does.
So he's Champions League standard, or is he a Premier League great?
I wouldn't put him in a Premier League great. I don't put him up there with in my mind I've got Ian Wright, Dennis Bergkamp.
Here's my bar. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
To be a Premier League great, with all these years of Premier League years, you've got to be in the top 100 Premier League players of all time. Which is another video coming soon, I'd imagine, because that sounds brilliant.
That sounds great fun.
Yeah.
Has he ever been the Tottenham Player of the Year?
Yeah, I would imagine so. I don't know.
It's
I don't know. I would have thought so.
You quoting Steven Gerrard not won the league.
So is he one of the top 100 Premier League players of all time? He's not, is he? He's not. Is he?
Not for me.
Not for me either. Champions League standard for me.
I think that's probably the safe bet. He's going to get hammered. I think he's very close to it.
I think people are going to be going, yeah, that's fair.
He's close to it. I just think he needs that moment in a Spurs shirt where I still think they need to win something. Maybe not even the Premier League, but the FA Cup or even a League Cup or PFA Player of the Year. Just something just to cement.
Do you know what as well? Has he distinctly been the best player in that team? Never.
No, you're not. No.
So
it's not been a team who's finished top 2 even.
Yeah, exactly. We'll sneak one in, do you? Next up, let's go to
the coast. That's the coast.
Let's over to the coast. It's Southampton and James Ward-Prowse. Prowse, so good. They gave him 2 names.
Yep.
James Ward-Prowse. Is he good? Is he good, but not as good as you think he is? Is he a Premier League great?
Do you think he deserved his England caps? He's got 2.
You tell us.
I sometimes wonder if, someone kind of features that often and they're that consistent for that long that it almost feels like they deserve that go. Whether they're going to be a sustained member of the England squad going forward, you think? Probably not. Not tokenistic call-up necessarily, but I just think it's a bit of a well done. I don't know.
Yeah, he'd on the conveyor belt of England, he'd been at the under-21s for ages, he'd done all that. He's got, his set pieces are really good.
Yeah,
he's the guy.
He's a really consistent Premier League player. And I think it was.
I think he's slightly overrated.
I agree.
But the only thing that's stopping me with that is that if you look at his stats, but like the underlying stats, I always pick him on fantasy football because he has so many shots on target, so many chances created, but he doesn't actually have a high conversion rate, and it's not over. It's been like that for a few seasons. It's not that really bad luck. It's just he hasn't.
I think there's a similar element with him and Madison in terms of it's all good and well you're having loads of shots and they're quite impactful. They stay in the memory, because especially when you strike the ball like that, those two do. But why has no one bought him? Why has he not been picked up?
Does he get work hard?
He's been around for long enough now. If he was really that good, someone would have taken him up.
And
he might. Maybe he's got the potential to go and do that. But if he is to do that, where would he go? And I'm still not sure what kind of midfielder he is yet, because he's a little bit lightweight. He's good on the ball, but again, I think he's got goal this season.
I think miss probably harsh.
I think we're going to have to be harsh at some point.
I think he's good, but he's not as good as you think he is.
Yeah.
I actually think he's quite good.
I don't think he's good.
No.
So it's probably not.
Yeah, I think that category sums him up. He is a good, solid Premier League player, but I do think his reputation is a little bit above the potential and reality.
Right. So 2 votes for that. I'm going to go. Someone's got to go in there. I'm going to say he's a myth. I think in time we'll look back and go, he was fine.
You don't play over 200 appearances in the Premier League. Well, for one club anyway. If you're a myth.
That's a good one. Lovely little stat there, Craig. Didn't go unnoticed.
Yeah.
All right, fair enough. He's good, but not as good as you think he is.
That doesn't mean he's shit, by the way, Southampton fans. It just means.
No, it doesn't.
Or does it?
No. It just means he's not underrated.
Yeah, whatever that
That's
means.
all it means.
Yeah.
Right, we carry on. Jefferson Lerma. Let's stay at the South Coast for a second.
stay there.
We saw him, didn't we, Tom? What do you think?
We went to the Arsenal game, didn't we? Arsenal Bournemouth. He came from Levante, didn't he?
He did.
Yeah. I thought that day he had a bit of a shocker, didn't he? He fell over a few times.
Well, and he did that thing where you don't trust yourself in terms of like dribbling out of trouble. So you just fall over and expect a free kick, and it's really annoying. He's doing it in stupid areas as well.
Yeah, you can see that he has what's the word I'm looking for? The attributes to he's got quite long stride length as well, didn't he? It's like he got himself out of trouble a few times with that. I thought his passing was good in general. It's quite a difficult game to play in away from home at Arsenal, but I thought he looked really capable. And in terms of categories, I wouldn't put him in Champions League, but I think he is good. I'm telling you.
Right, he's underrated. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
He annoyed me in that game, and I actually thought Billing was probably better.
He was good. Yeah.
I like Billing. He's underrated. I'm telling you.
Yeah. He's not here though, is he?
Will Lerma play? I don't leave Bournemouth and go progress. To
I
a
think
bigger
so.
club?
Yeah, I think he will.
Do you?
No, I think he will. Yeah, I think he'll go.
I fear he's a myth. I fear he's a myth. Okay.
I really don't know enough to comment. I won't pretend.
Yeah.
So let's go in the middle. He's good, but not as as good as you think he is. Because you said he's underrated.
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay. Sorry, was that aggressive?
No.
I didn't mean to be. We
That's
move
fine,
on.
honestly, that's fine.
Okay. What about João Moutinho?
Okay.
Still to come.
He's.
Lots of other players.
I feel like I get the impression he's maybe still underrated in England, but his reputation throughout Europe is great.
Yeah.
But he's
won a lot.
He has to be at least Champions League standard, isn't he? Because
He's played it.
He's won it.
Yeah. No, he's played for Porto and Monaco, so he wouldn't have won it with them. Unless did he win it at Porto?
Won it at Porto, didn't he?
Early doors, did he?
2004.
33. He's currently
I
33.
think he won it at Porto.
Oh, maybe he did.
He's won the Euros, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, so with that in mind, I think he has to be Champions League standard. He's played in it.
No, yeah, played after. So
Did he?
Yeah.
He's won the league at Porto Monaco and the
Loser.
European Champions. So
In the bin. I think he's a dream.
I think he's underrated. I think a lot of
underrated.
English fans don't respect.
There
how
are
good he is.
there are
He's never won
players.
Champions League.
There are players that no one really knows about them.
Yeah.
You just can get about their business. But you as a fan will love them forever. And I bet Wolves fans will love him forever.
Yeah.
Especially when they're a little bit older as well. It's nice. Like really show my age here, man. You always laugh at this. Ray Wilkins, back in the day. God rest his soul. Two guy as well. You know, two guy, and everyone just had a heart.
Yeah.
He just banged in great goals and just potted about.
Yeah.
That's what
remember him.
Moutinho's doing a little bit in the modern game. I like him.
I think if you're doing this several years ago, he would have been Champions League standard, but just because he's getting on a little bit, he's probably dropped to a tier.
Yeah.
He's underrated.
I think now you'd probably say another tier.
Do you think?
He's good, but not as good as you
Yeah, I
think
think
he
you'd
is.
have
Oh,
to.
because he's a little bit older.
Yeah.
Great interpretation of the tiers.
Yeah,
Dom.
that's what I mean. Like, if you asked me a few years ago, I would have said you've got to put him up there.
Yeah.
And if he played the Premier League in that time, you'd argue for the top tier. But at the moment, I think he's in that. But then you two have got to vote as well. But I think there's some very good midfielders in that Wolves team.
Yeah.
Generally.
I was on Twitter, a couple of people saying Moutinho is better than Neves.
Well, yeah, I mean, Neves got a hell of a shot on him, hasn't he? And you remember that, like you were saying earlier.
So I get the casting vote because we both voted.
Let me say that before you think, here's a little thing for you.
Yeah.
So if you were to, right, give me the 10 best midfielders for 15 best midfielders in the Premiership. I bet you his name won't crop up for a high percentage of people.
Plus 15.
Because he's
what
underrated.
proper? Are we talking proper midfielders?
Centre midfielders.
I think he would.
But you're saying it because he's underrated. I'm saying it because he's not good enough.
I think he's underrated. I think he wouldn't be listed because he just kind of like people forget about him.
I think
we're completely disagreeing, aren't we? All of us.
Do you know what? He's winding down, isn't he? A little bit. He's 33, so maybe not Champions League standard anymore. That's probably why he went to Wolves. He's underrated, I'm telling you. He's still. I love. You know me, Dom. I love a little centre midfielder. Probably pop. So
yeah.
So I'm gonna go with him. Right, Sean Longstaff. We're gonna keep some of the big hitters. We're gonna spread the big hitters about. Sean Longstaff. Could he become a big hitter? Man United wanted him in the summer. Man United fans weren't overly excited about that, but recently him and his brother tore him a new one.
Yeah,
he's not played that much for Newcastle, has he?
He looked good in that game actually.
He's had a few injuries here and there.
Yeah,
he's good. I feel like I haven't seen enough of him yet. The fact that Man United are interested overall is a very good sign, as much as everyone likes to take the mickey out at the moment, and that would lead me to think that. But he's not underrated because there's a lot of talk about him.
Yeah,
you haven't
is.
actually seen that much of him just yet.
It's good, but is he good? Isn't
in
it?
a weird way, I almost want to put him in the myth category, not because he's shit, just because no one really knows, and people are jumping on the back of.
I'm desperate to get anyone in the myth category.
But and that.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'd probably go for a myth, but I think it's not because he's shit or anything. It's just I just don't know yet. I feel like there's a lot of hype's coming because he beat Man United a bit outside of Newcastle.
Do you know what the problem is?
Go on.
So right now his stock is high.
Yeah.
Okay. But he's at Newcastle, and if he doesn't get out of there quick, then he'll get stuck there. And in playing for a struggling side, the leeway that you get as a young player, as a player that you like, and soon he'll be Paul Dummett.
Yeah.
Or Stephen Taylor.
He is good. We know he's good,
but he's got to get out.
I don't think he's as good as you think he is.
That probably makes more sense.
I think.
That probably makes more sense.
I'm leaning. I know 3 times I've tried to get someone in the midfield, but I'm leaning towards that just because there is such hype about him right now, but it could just all fall flat.
Cool. I'm convinced the fact he starred with his brother has raised his profile on the end.
What do you think? I'm going to go myth.
Okay. Yeah.
Again, because I want to get someone in there.
We just don't know at this stage.
Craig, what are you saying?
I think he's a myth.
That's 2 in a myth. Yes.
That's fine.
Right, let's have Gylfi Sigurdsson.
Myth. No,
Yeah.
I just wanted to get another myth in there straight away.
Yeah. Myth.
Yeah. No,
Gylfi Sigurdsson. Now this is tough. Everton's struggling, but he has been a very consistent player for teams that haven't had, not the best of luck, but had been at the top end of the table, and he's always banged in goals.
He's underrated, I'm telling you.
But why is a bigger team not coming and stuck with him?
They had Tottenham. I thought he did well at Tottenham. He played some good stuff there.
He did, but ultimately they let him go.
But they did let him go, and I think they had quite a good array of talent there.
They could do with him now. They could have
do
because Dele Alli's not doing it, and that's a similar kind of position.
I liked it. I think he was slightly. I think he has been as a Premier League player slightly underrated.
I probably agree with that.
So, but right
right
you're
now,
saying underrated, but not Champions League level.
Yeah.
You don't think he's Champions League level?
Sigurdsson, what was in top 4 now? Let's start for top 4 team now.
That's a good point.
I honestly think as naive as it sounds, if he was, he'd be there.
I think he probably was, but he's not now.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been in England long enough to have established himself at Champions League level, and the fact he's not got there
does it internationally, doesn't he? Consistently. I think he's
underrated.
Okay, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I feel comfortable with that.
Capoue, Etienne Capoue, Watford, formerly of Arsenal.
He's a good player.
I saw him last year in the FA Cup, and he was fine. I don't think he's not. There's a lot of talk about him and Decore and who's better. I think it's a bit like we were saying about the shots and stuff like that. Decore is a bit more memorable, but Capoue, I reckon, he gets better numbers.
Yeah, I also think he's overrated because of how cheap he is on fantasy football.
Yeah.
That's my personal opinion. I mean, people probably jump down.
Yeah.
I think he's overrated.
I think he is good, but he's not as good as Watford fans probably think he is. I think the Arsenal link helps him, and he's been a steady player. Has he been any worse than James Ward-Prowse? Or has he been
not any better either?
Yeah.
He's not playing a fifth as many games. It's so difficult to compare him to Ward-Prowse. I reckon he's slightly overrated.
Yeah,
It's only slightly.
He's good, but not as good as you think he is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's in there.
I think so.
Right, let's twist it up a bit with N'Golo Kante.
Now this is an interesting one.
This one's easy.
This was an interesting one because I said we're doing this tier list at work, and my colleague Joe Hutter, he
Shout out.
right, Sloppy Joe.
Is that what they call him?
That's what I've got my nickname.
Do people go, what, because he's unprofessional? You go, no.
he said that he's overrated, and he said that,
Wow.
and that's a lot. That's the case for a lot of
Who's Joseph?
defensive Liverpool. He said that that's the case for a lot of these players in that role, because
He's one of them.
They have to do very little. One of them, Sloppy Joe, Sloppy Connor.
Sloppy Joe.
And I was a bit upset, to be honest, but I was like, well, he has evolved into a different player, and his
That goal the other week was amazing.
exactly, and so he can play elsewhere. Plus, he's won the league at two different clubs. One of them he was integral for. We talk about Vardy and Mahrez. He's just as important.
Yeah.
I mean, arguably more. When he was missing for the West Brom game towards the end of the season, they drew 2-2, and and then there was
And then the season after,
Mm.
we struggled.
yeah, I think Kante is a Premier League.
Oh yeah, easily. It's the easiest one on this whole list.
I think
He's got it all, right? He's got the titles, he's got the quality, he's got the engine, he's
The
got the
attitude.
dominance, and he's so nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He's got the personality as well.
yeah.
It's the easiest one
I don't know that
ever.
Sloppy
Definitely
Joe
Premier League.
said that it's a position that you should. That's quite easy, such, but it's a position that still needs to be played and played well. And he's one of the best in the world. Playing right there with like Makelele and Essien, that sort of role.
And
He's
even
brilliant.
look, the France team was amazing, but when everyone talks about Pogba and wanting to see the best of Pogba, they talk about the World Cup, and he was there alongside Kante, and Kante did all the work.
Mhm.
So Sloppy Joe, sorry mate. He said Premier League great.
Comfortably.
Probably very similar in style and quality. Dale Stevens,
Steve.
Brighton.
Yeah.
So with the tiers, when we talk about tiers, there were so many other tiers that I wanted to put in there, like things like you'll miss him when he's gone.
Yeah,
Because there are players like
you
you don't really like him at the time, but when he's gone, you go, oh, he did a job for us. He was actually all right. And Dale Stevens, I reckon actually Brighton fans probably absolutely adore him, and he's done well to make his way up through the leagues, or through the league at least, because he is steady Eddie, gets the ball and gives it to better players. But those players can be very, very integral to the team.
That is such like an underrated quality in a player though, because the Glenn Whelan role, I compare it to that's so important to have a player that can do that consistently. It's a lot harder than you sometimes give it credit
Yeah,
for.
I agree. And he's still playing games now, even when like Potter's, Potter Nation, everyone knows that they're playing great football now, and he's good enough to stay in that team. I think he's underrated. I'm telling you.
I think it's slightly underrated, yeah.
I was going to go Myth.
Were you?
Yeah, I was going to
Yeah.
go Myth.
I think he's hanging on by a thread.
It's 2-1, isn't it? I think you'll see him in the Championship in a few years.
That's another one. It's like, where's their next move? Is his next move to another Premier League team, or is it to a Championship team?
I think he's underrated in the context of what he does for Brighton.
If he went
To
down,
what
would
size.
another Prem team pick him up?
Yeah.
A promoted team maybe, just to do that job.
Yeah,
He's a Myth.
No, you've convinced me there. Did a whole speech about how useful he was. Yeah, you're a myth, mate.
I can't wait for Brighton fans now.
Sorry,
Yeah.
it's just been fun, isn't it?
Yeah, it's been fun, yeah.
Right,
Having a
here's
laugh.
another one. Dom, staying with you, newly promoted as well. Ollie Norwood
Ollie Norwood.
of Sheffield United fame. I was going to put John Lundstrom in, who's become an FPL legend. He's a defender on the game, Craig, and that plays in midfield and has got a lot of points and assists. And Sheffield United, of course, got the second best defence in the league. But you wanted to have Ollie Norwood in there?
Yeah, I know I sometimes go on about it, but as a player, just watch him play. Like he's just like a little quarterback. His range of passing is absolutely unbelievable, And he will, the way that Sheffield United play is really interesting. It's been talked about quite a lot. But he is like so important to that team, and also he was really important until he retired to the Northern Ireland team for several games. And he is for me, he was a standout player in the Championship last season. I thought every time I saw him play, he did not put a foot wrong. His passing is like absolutely exquisite.
Does he get more space because of the way they play as well, though?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
he probably would. He probably does.
Do you think he's peaked in terms of level of club and level of, you know?
I
do you think he'll go up? Do you think there's another move?
Yeah, I think there's another move. Right now on the spot, I'm not sure where, but I think he could. I think he's done that. He's retired from international football now. To concentrate on the Premier League. I think you could see him somewhere like Everton maybe, or I mean that's so
always the one
lazy.
It's always
so lazy. But yeah.
What about West Ham?
But you know what I mean? Maybe.
West Ham, Everton.
Yeah, West Ham.
Yeah. I think he's. I always forget the categories, but the third one down. He's underrated. I'm telling you.
Right. I mean, you put forward.
Can't argue.
I don't know enough. Really.
I don't know, but I know that he's kind of really highly regarded at Sheffield United. I think his stock's not quite broken out of the Sheffield United camp at the moment, but I'm going to go with thus. He's underrated. I'm telling you.
Good stuff, Craigie.
There you go.
Right. Let's stay in the northern region with a bit of Burnley. Jeff Hendrick of Irish fame. Of long-haired fame, good stubble fame. I could imagine him in Corrie.
Could you?
Yeah. But is he good at football? Craig?
I'm not as good. I'm instantly going to look to Dom, because you just give a better answer.
Well, he's Irish, isn't he?
And he's Irish. So you've probably got more of an eye on this player than I have.
He's got a lot about him defensively and offensively.
I really like him.
He scored 2 goals already this season. For Burnley he's really important. I think he's good, but he's not as good as you think he is though. I think because he's capped and plays regularly for the Republic, and he plays in a team at the moment with a manager. If you took I think he's like Burnley. They're the manager leaving away from being a star.
That's a great point.
That's a really good point, though, Dom.
Is he? Could you see him at Everton? Where's his next move? Because I think that's quite good. That's quite helpful. Where's his next move?
Yeah, I mean,
he'd definitely get a Prem team. I think he'd definitely get a Prem team.
Definitely Prem.
I like him, and I think he's actually let down a little bit, or not allowed to thrive.
He's restricted a bit.
A little bit at Burnley, because he's exactly the kind of player that they probably need, because he's not an attacking midfielder.
No.
And he's not a defensive midfielder.
No.
So he can be Burnley's attacking midfielder. Because Burnley, a hard-working team, they need someone, even as an attacking midfielder, who can get on and get yourself going and have that license to do that. You still need someone who's going to work hard and work back. And he has got good feet, actually.
How many caps he got for Ireland? I feel he's been playing for Ireland for he's over 100. That's amazing.
But he's a bit of an all-rounder, isn't he, as well?
Yeah, I think he's underrated. I do think he's underrated. Coming to the end. No, he's not. 27. 50. Only 2 goals for Ireland. Poor. That's poor, isn't it?
Yeah.
Only 9 goals for Burnley. It's quite poor.
Yeah,
it's a myth,
I still like him though. Maybe he's not.
Maybe he's a myth. I played 100 caps.
So he's got 51 caps. He's only got 2 goals.
It's a myth.
He's crap. In the bin. He's not, or is he good? But he's not as good as you think. He's got 51 caps for Ireland.
Yeah. Maybe he's a myth.
Or is he a myth?
I'm confused now, to be honest.
Say either good or myth on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Myth.
Good.
I don't know why.
Myth. 3 in the myth. I don't think we'd have 3 in the myth.
Okay,
right, here we go. Let's go Grealish.
Okay.
Jack Grealish. Grealish-ish.
I felt like he was bouncing around. His stock has really risen, hasn't it? That's past. I got the impression when Villa got relegated, he could just fizzle, because he come in with that bang when he first got into Villa team several years ago. Bit flashy. I thought he could easily fizzle, but he really has held his own treaded water for a little bit and he's kind of rising now.
Yeah, he's followed the state of Villa, hasn't he?
I still think he's underrated even now. I think he's creeping towards Champions League standard. He's just underrated still even now.
I rate him so highly.
He was so good in the Championship, like the season, both seasons, the last 2 seasons.
Every time I see him,
he obviously got injured for one of them.
Sorry, every time I see him play, he's the best player on the pitch. A Championship playoff final, he nearly dragged them to it on his own when they lost to Fulham. When he played against QPR, he got kicked and kicked and kicked, foul after foul. And he just gets up and gets on with it. You would imagine he would have a bit more of a tempo, but he just gets on with it. You know, the Birmingham thing, he just gets on with it, scores the winner. I think he's, when we talk about James Madison being a bit flash and how we shouldn't do that, that could be, James Madison could, you know, with that idea, it's a similar thing with Grealish, because, you know, he looks a bit slimy, but there's brilliant footballers who are brave and get on the ball. I think he should be playing. Tottenham should go and get him. They really should.
I really want him to stick with Villa for a couple more years and really learn the Premier League. 'Cause I think it'll help him no end. For once, just to kind of, the grass isn't always greener. Just to stick. I think the move's there inevitably, but I think it just hold fire for just a season or 2.
Well, they've got a good team. There's another one, John McGinn.
John McGinn could have been in this thing as well.
Yeah, he's a proper midfielder.
Yeah, I agree though. Every time I've seen Jack Grealish play, I've always thought he made them tick.
Yeah, he's Champions League.
Made something happen. Really, yeah.
Yeah, I really rate him that highly.
Really,
he's so good. Because I think he'd step into that team, and because he's not in the England squad yet. You know, God, we've got so many good players that we could have in that area of the pitch. I still don't think we're really dominating yet.
I think he needs to become he needs to really stamp his.
I think he'd like to see
game in the Premier League first before he's Champions League standard.
So I'd love to know, as much as assists, the pass before the pass, I bet he makes a hell of a load of those ones as well, because they just give him the ball all the time. I think he's Champions League.
I was going to say tier 3.
He's underrated, I'm telling you.
Yeah, I think a lot of people do, like, because he's a bit like a flash Harry, and he wears his socks quite low and all that.
Yeah, that is annoying.
People, people I think sometimes, like, you know, have that bias against him. So I think he is slightly like knocked down a few pegs by people, and I think that he is a good player, and I think he's underrated. I'm telling you.
Well, remember we will be voting at the end. You'll be able to move one.
Yeah,
you get to make one move.
Yeah.
And at the moment, I'm thinking about Grealish. If I don't get what I want here,
and
Champions League standard. I'm saying, you're saying he's underrated. I'm telling you, Craig, you get a costing vote. He's gone underrated. He's gone underrated. Okay. Nice little spread we've got at the moment there. Let's go over to... Go on, Craig, you pick one.
I'm going for Declan Rice.
Good. Great pick.
A bit of an enigma at the moment. I mean, I feel like there's...
He's good, but is he good?
A little bit. The headlines with the old kind of the switch from Ireland to England, I think, has been his biggest almost spotlight this year in a weird way, and I think it's distracted slightly from his performances. I do wonder if he's not as good as we think he is at the moment. I do think he's been thrust into the limelight because of his story, and it's maybe dictated the narrative of his ability slightly. Not saying he's bad, not saying he's shit forever. I just think it's not quite set yet.
Yeah, I think it's a bit like I was talking to Flav about Harry Winks, who could have been in it as well. But I want Harry Winks to be that guy. Desperate for him to be that Pirlo, that Ryan Woods that can really just make the team tick against top level opposition, because that's been the problem with England in terms of now we've hit a bit of a ceiling. We need to jump up. He's putting Declan Rice in that position at the moment, and so he wants Declan Rice to be that guy. So we're all rooting for him to be that guy. He's still really young.
He is, isn't he?
And I watched the Villa game, and the way he patrols that midfield is very impressive. Does get about the pitch so well, and he's giving Mark Noble a few extra years. I reckon he will do.
Yeah.
I don't think he's underrated, because I think everyone's raving about him. Is he champ? Is he? It's one. So which means he's either Champions League standard, or if you don't rate him, he's good but not as good as you think he is.
That's what I'm going for.
I think he's a good player. I think he is a really good player. But I don't know if I believe he's as good as people say.
Yeah.
My gut agrees with you in my head. Actually, hang on, other way around.
Stats here.
Whatever. He's not as good. I think you might be right, unfortunately. He's never going to get too many assists or anything like that. It's more sort of touches and dominance. And do you know what? He's at a good place where West Ham are going to kind of continue to sort of grow. And well, at the moment, it looks like they're progressing in a really nice way.
Yeah.
And so with that, you then have Yarmolenko and Lanzini and Fornals and Philip Anderson in front of him.
Nice side.
The worst thing he could do is let hype get under his skin and move to a bigger club. Man United, because I think it would set him back years. He's got to stay at West Ham.
He could get Rodwelled.
Exactly.
Yeah,
he could get Rodwelled.
Yeah, or...
I don't think he will.
Could get Rodwelled.
I don't think he's going to be a myth though. I think he is good. I think Don might be right. I hope I'm wrong. Right. He's good, but not as good as you think he is.
Yet.
Yeah.
Little caveat.
Little caveat.
It's a little mid.
But he does go down there, unfortunately. Milivojevic. Milivojevic.
Penalty king.
Loves a penalty.
He does, doesn't he?
Pick him up. I think he's a myth. I'll tell you why. Pick him up. Plop him in. Burnley team doesn't get many penalties. You'd never talk about him. He becomes that. What's his name? Goodmanson. He comes play like that. Yeah, my side.
Yeah.
He's good. And if it wasn't for the penalties, I'd put him as he's good, but not as good as you think he is. But because of the penalties, he's a myth.
I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that.
Well, yeah, that logic alone. I mean, that's what
it's
I know.
Not his fault. It's not his
anything.
fault, and that's the the minefield of a tier list.
He was never the penalty taker before he went to Palace. Weird.
Was he not?
No.
He's got, and he's had. I think he's had like 4 more penalties than anyone else.
Really?
He's got 11 out of 12, which is, it's great, but it's just kicking a football. It's just kicking a football.
Yeah. Just kicking a football.
I think for that point alone, he's a myth, but I think maybe we've been a bit short in terms of his.
Delighted I've been able to get 4 in there. Right, we carry on. I'm saving that one to the end.
Yeah.
Let's go Buendia. That's Buendia. Emiliano, I think it is.
Yeah. Important cog, part of the cog, part of the machine. Sorry.
Important cog in the machine.
That's right.
Yeah. At Norwich.
For Norwich, especially with the promotion last season.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well done. He was one of the better players in the Championship.
Yeah, he was very good. For me, like if you're looking at the standard of the Premier League now and you're comparing him against that, I think he's good, but I'd put him in that category, the second lowest category.
He's good, but not as good as you think he is.
So because he is good.
He is good. 4 assists this season, of astonishing stat.
No, I was going to say he got 12 assists last season, so he's continuing that trend.
Oh, brilliant! Yeah, there you go.
He does that.
Loads of stats. But
the stats in
the thing I would say, and it's how you want to spin it, he's an attacking player in an attacking team, and that will lead to his stats being better.
Mm-hmm.
Will it keep them up? And his, as the sort of best attacking midfielder that Norwich have got, is he good enough to be the best player in an attacking team and keep them up? I think that's the tricky thing for him.
I think 4 assists at this stage of the season for a team that's generally down there is phenomenal effort.
It is a phenomenal effort, but deep down
they're
in
in
your
terrible
heart,
form currently now, though.
But
they have got a lot of injuries.
You don't think he's good enough, do you?
For what? The Premier League in general?
To keep somebody up, like as
I know what you're
saying.
I mean, I don't. To be honest, I don't know at this stage. It's that early.
But really.
I think he's had a good start.
What's his next move? Let's play that game.
Probably
is a Prem team.
Yeah.
Oh, back to Spain. Good back to Getafe. Where of course they got him.
I think he could do the old promoted club roundabout.
Do you?
If Norwich went down, that is,
I think he's got the. I'm leaning towards, due to the fantastic recruitment policy of Norwich and Webber. I wonder if he's underrated.
I kind of agree. So far, you look at stats from last year, admittedly the Championship, but this year, no.
What's he supposed to do? What's he supposed to do?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, let's look at his assists this year.
It's amazing. He can help you either side.
He's the second highest assist maker in the Premier League so far. So that's got to be underrated in a Norwich team that's generally not rated. He's got the second most assists. He's got to be underrated.
You make a good point.
Stats do not lie.
So that's your vote, is it?
Yeah, it makes sense.
I agree.
Okay,
He's got
to.
to. It's amazing.
He's charming.
Literally, I say 75% about one argument and they're changing mind. Right, he's underrated, I'm telling you. Fabinho. Let's go Fabinho. Now, I think he could well be a Premier League great.
Nah.
I think he will become a Premier League great.
Fine.
That's a different
That's my
thing.
point.
Is that allowed? Is that still?
Yeah, because I think that that's what we said at the start. Is that be it now, be it 10 years of time, he will be a Premier League great.
It's weird that I think he is equally quantifies being described as underrated. I just think with all the Liverpool flair, he kind of gets lost a little bit in the narrative.
But if you're saying he's underrated, you're saying
I know.
he's not Champions League standard, which of course he is.
Cool,
I would say he's Champions League standard.
I would as well.
I think if he could play at Liverpool for the next. Hang on, now obviously he could play.
37.
Yeah, fuck's sake. I think he could. I think he was 25 when he signed.
But he could leave as well.
I don't think if you see his missus very vocal on social media.
Yeah.
He's 25 now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he's got another 5 years in a Liverpool team that is hitting its prime.
Mm-hmm.
If he stays, he could go, couldn't he?
Where would he go?
Barcelona.
I mean, maybe in time he might fancy that
Barcelona.
challenge.
Yeah.
I could see him being a Premier League great. Because I think he's so, and his importance to that team is just going to get more and more important, and his leadership is going to become more and more important as Milner goes and then Henderson goes.
And you're saying you need to win the league to be a Premier League great?
Do you believe he's 25?
I thought that, but I'm not sure now.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's great.
He's class.
Yeah.
I think Champions League standard, but I think your argument does hold well that he could become a great.
I would go Champions League standard. Remember, you can always move on at the end.
Got one move at the end. Remember, stick around. Guendouzi.
Yeah. So, at the moment, he is a Champions League. He's Champions League standard. I'm really.
He's never
impressed.
played Champions League football.
He has never played Champions League football. He's also extremely young.
Yeah,
He's
he's
20,
so young. Yeah.
I think it is roughly. For me, he has the capacity to be a Premier League great.
Wow.
I honestly see the potential in that guy. He's got everything. I think he's got passing. He's strong in the tackle. He's got positioning skills is absolutely incredible. But I know he's been criticised for that in the past by
his positioning.
by a few coaches. But I've seen him a few times live, and I'm always impressed with him and with his age and where he's at with it. And you can see he's one of those players that will, the way he plays, he will last a long time as well. I think I think it's too early to say he could be a Premier League great, but I think he has that potential. But I put him in Champions League standard.
You want to go?
I can't bet on that, can I? I'm going to go with Dom. I think from what I've seen, he looks very, very good.
I see a lot of Fabregas in him. I see a similar kind of player, and actually what I'll probably see in Guendouzi, which obviously Fabregas is a bit different. He's got a bit of bite about him, and I thought the North London derby, I was like, wow. Especially with teams that play free midfield, if you could get rid of Xhaka and get a really good defensive midfielder in there, Declan Rice maybe. Yeah.
Hendrick.
They just need a centre back and defensive midfielder and a striker, and they're going somewhere. No, if you got a really good defensive midfielder who allowed him to be to go and get the ball when he wanted to get it and go he plays in that left little channel sometimes, and gets a little bit further forward. He's not an attacking midfielder, but from that little position, and we're going to get onto De Bruyne in a second, but in that little position where De Bruyne picks up those pockets as well sometimes, his passing's really good. Like I said, I think that he goes and gets the ball, he demands the ball, and again, like I said, the North London derby, that was a game for me. I was like,
who's this guy?
Who's this kid? Yeah, and I think he could be a Premier League great.
He's fantastic.
I'm happy to put him as a Premier League great. I think because that's the thing with that tier, is will they become a Premier League great? And so if he plays for Arsenal, and I think he's a captain as well. He wants to be captain of that team, and he could quite easily stay there for 15 years and become a Premier League great.
Okay. I think it's too early to make that call to Champions League standard for now. For me. What did you say?
I really like him.
It's a Champions League standard. I do as well. I think he's genuinely got the. I was trying to.
So
I was trying to play down my bias a little bit as well, because I think. I think I could have easily pushed it a little bit more, but yeah, I think he's Champions League standard, and he definitely has the potential to be the top tier.
My vote is Premier League great, just in case. Let me vote first. Premier League great.
I'm gonna say Champions League standard.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a few changes that I'd like to make. Right, last two. Which one do you want to go first?
Let's
Go blue half?
save the best to last, yeah.
Right. Kevin De Bruyne. That's Kevin De Bruyne.
Kevin De Bruyne for me is one of the top 5 best players ever played in the Premier League.
Already?
Yeah, I think he's absolutely unbelievable, and I think he's got, in terms of it, he can put a ball in someone's head, he can run past people, he can put challenges in, he can score goals. He can play anywhere across that midfield.
He's got that Gerrard vibe, hasn't he? Do you top 5? I think it's tough, isn't it, in every position. But in terms of midfielders, I think you're struggling to think of 5 better than him. You could argue Gerrard,
Goals.
but then but then you go and say you're going complete midfielders. It's him and like Roy Keane didn't score anywhere near the same amount of goals as he did. Obviously, he has different attributes. Scholes again different, can tackle. Like Gerrard's probably the only one who I can think of. People talk about Lampard a lot. Lampard didn't dominate games. He affected games massively. He didn't dominate games because he was smart.
He does both.
He does both.
I think this is undoubted.
Yeah.
Is he great, isn't he?
I think he is a Premier League great. He's certainly in the top 100 Premier League players of all time.
Yeah.
He's the best player on this tier list.
Yeah. Quite.
Yes, he is. He's the most talented as well. Yeah, but his talent gets him over Kante. Just for me, I do love Kante so much. Right.
Okay. The most divisive player in the Premier League.
Is he the most divisive player in the Premier League
Maybe the
of
world.
all time?
Maybe.
All time?
Of all time, you asking?
Yeah.
In terms of people not understanding if he's good or not.
I think he is. I've never been as unsure myself. He drives me at the wall watching him play. He's so frustrating. He is so frustrating. I see the briefest glimpse of quality and then several minutes of frustration. Dross. I can't figure him out.
So, Paul Pogba, obviously, that's who we're talking about now, is the last person on our list here. Is he a myth? Is he good but not as good as you think he is? Is he underrated? I'm telling you. Is he Champions League standard or is he a Premier League great? You could argue for every single one of those tiers easily.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Why is he a myth?
Because he seems to have this hype. I mean, how much did he cost for a start? 90 million? I mean, that's
Which
ridiculous.
is more at the time.
For what he's given back.
I can't make an argument for that category.
Personally,
I can't.
I think you can. In terms of it's an unfair sort of tipping point in terms of being a myth, but in terms of an idea of a player and the truth, if you've seen him, say there were 20 games in a season, and I watched 10, and you watched the other 10, you quite easily I could think he's a myth, and you could think he's a Premier League great, because he's undoubtedly so talented, and has absolutely everything. And he's so smart. The way he can find solutions, which is a big thing for a midfielder a lot of the time, is incredible.
But I think that's.
But he lets you down.
I think that's because he tries to make things happen in the side which doesn't really have that much flair. And I think that if you're pinging balls across or trying to find balls when you haven't got the runs in front of you, or you haven't got the players in front of you or around you, then I think you can end up looking really shit. So
that's a great point. And so just to be clear, that's not what I'm saying. I was saying we're going to go through them. So he's good, but not as good as you think he is. I think that's kind of self-explanatory of what you would decide with him. He's underrated, I'm telling you. I think the argument for that would be what you're saying, and it's true. That's a bad midfield. And because it's a bad midfield, you have to force things sometimes. Especially if he's not an attacking midfielder. If you're an attacking midfielder, you stay up there, you're James Madison, and you get it when it's given to you, and you stay in those little pockets, and you look to turn it and create something. He's not that player. They want more from him, but they're asking for almost too much from him in a bad midfield, and so he does force it sometimes. So I understand that totally.
The thing is, I think the argument you can flip it on its head just by quoting Steven Gerrard. Look what he did to an average Liverpool side for several seasons.
Yeah, well, they still had Torres and they still had
Man United still have
Suarez,
but Man United still have some great players in the squad.
Some, but I think if you look at how he plays for the French squad though, and you know, there's a lot more talent in front of him, and yeah, it almost opens him up, yeah. So to play more offensively.
He's not got. That's the thing, because there are how many players are there that make the rest of the team look so much better. Ali Fowlin. I know you were thinking it. I'm going to say it. Ali Fowlin at QPR made average players. Everyone was thinking it. Made awful players look brilliant because they had an out. They had he'd give the ball to them. He'd go, well, I can give it back to him, and he'd go, yeah. And that's why he's won a Premier League great for me. But
was that
Pogba doesn't. There's so much pressure on Pogba that I think they're asking him to do two roles a lot of the time, and that's unfair.
And I completely agree on that. And Juventus fans, they talked about Ramsey this season and how well he's doing, and they said that they haven't had a player like him since Pogba, and that they absolutely loved the way Pogba played. Pogba for me, I think the price tag and the hammering. I remember when he missed the penalty this season, and then I think Rashford missed the penalty as well. And the treatment that Pogba got was 10 times worse than what Rashford got. They both missed the penalty, and for me, the way he influences games for France is testament to see how good he is as a player. I think he'll never be a Premier League great because he'll always be at Man United, and they won't change enough. Whilst he's in the Premier League, he'll go somewhere else. He'll end up in Spain, and I think he'll be one of the footballing greats.
You think he'll be a footballing great, but not a Premier great?
Yeah, I think he'll be one of the footballing greats of the next 5-10 years.
I know we've all seen the speech at the World Cup. I still don't believe he's a leader though, and I think that's why he's trying too much and it feels forced sometimes. And so sometimes he's brilliant and sometimes it doesn't totally work. So he's undoubtedly in the top two tiers for me. He's undoubtedly Premier League, either a Premier League great or Champions League standard. But for all the reasons you said, and I would add on to that is I think he wants to be a leader, but I don't think he is a leader.
I agree.
I think that is just sometimes the way, and I think he wants to do it, and that's why he's a myth. That's why for me he's Champions League standard, because there's no way he's not Champions League standard.
Absolutely.
I agree. He's not done enough yet to be Premier League great.
Okay.
At all.
Champions League standard for Pogba. As we've said a couple of times, we finished the tier list by being allowed to make one final move.
And one move only.
Dom, where are you off to?
Well, I'm looking at it at the moment. There's a few for me. I feel like when we did the say at the same time thing for Jeff, I thought that maybe I was a bit harsh calling him a myth. There's that one. I also feel that Guendouzi could be a Premier League great at some point in his career, and I'm worried a little bit about that one. You know what? It's a difficult road, isn't it?
It really is.
Making decisions, and it is a pretty boring one to move Jeff Hendrick up one category, isn't it?
It's a big move, whatever it is. It stays there forever.
You know what?
Suspense.
I'm gonna move Wendy down one.
Do you want me to do it? You can do it?
No, I'll do it.
Yeah. Get out in the bin. So Buendia is now he's good, but not as good as you think he is, which I'm okay with. it does even itself out. Craig,
this is difficult. I am going to move.
It's quite hard, isn't it?
It is a lot of pressure when it's just like your
Especially when you get one move.
I'm going to move Sigurdsson down. I think he's been in the Premier League long enough to be above the level he's at, and I think he's in the underrated category at the moment. I think he's overrated. If he was that good, he would have found his way back up a tier or two. I really do. I think he's overrated. I'm not saying he's a bad player. He should have progressed more by now if he was a better player.
Not a double drop then, just single drop.
Just a single drop. He's not as good as I think the world thinks he is.
Okay. I think there's truth in that.
Slightly. He's a good.
Yeah,
one of Everton's better.
Lacks a bit of pace, doesn't he? He's lack a bit of pace. That's me saying that. Incredible. Right. Options include Guendouzi as a Premier League great. Do I really believe in him that much? Fabinho as a Premier League great. Do I believe in him that much? Grealish, Champions League standard. Do I believe in him that much? And does anyone move down? I don't think anyone moves down. think Declan Rice is a little bit hard done by there as well.
That's
I'm
true.
going to go... I'm going to go Fabinho to a Premier League grade.
There he goes.
He's 25. They're
Well,
going to win this
Liverpool
league.
fans gonna
They're
like
going to
that
win
now,
this
man.
year. They're going to win the league this year. They could win another Champions League in time. The rest of that squad is young. The only old players are Milner, Henderson. He's going to become more and more important, and I think he's going to be absolutely huge for them. And he will be a Premier League great. Okay.
All right. Fine.
We hope you've enjoyed another tier list. What should we do next, or should we just leave it? Let us know.
No.
I enjoy it though. I think it creates good
Yeah, it's
discussion.
fun. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it
good.
was.
Let us know what tier list we should do next, as I said, in the comments below. Hit the like button because it really helps with the algorithm and all that stuff. Subscribe to my channel, that'd be nice. Subscribe to Great Touch for a big lad, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you. Bye.
Right.
He's gone.